Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Joining us for the segment, we have David Zaikin. He is the co-founder of Key Elements Group. We're going to get an update on what's happening with the war in Ukraine, the weaponizing of energy, and of course, we'll talk about the grain deal as well. David, it's great to see you again. Welcome back to Trade Talks.
First of all, Jill, it's a pleasure to be back here. Thank you.
You got it. No problem at all. How is Europe reacting to Russia's weaponization of energy?
Look, Jill, in order to have professional opinion on that, we need to revisit and look at 2021. In 2021, Russia provided over 165 billion BCM to Europe. Only 10% of that went to China. So when Russia is raising prices today, there are only a few buyers left. European Union, luckily, is getting enough LNG from United States. And United States, which is energy sufficient, the US is currently a hostage to Putin's regime. With the recent cuts to Nord Stream 1, down to 20% of its capacity, it is clear that Putin is attempting to sabotage Europe's effort to stockpile gas for winter. And if the war continues, and nothing we're seeing today suggests that it won't, I foresee a dark, cold, and hungry winter for Europe.
So what can we expect in the next 3 to 6 months for Europe's energy market?
Prices will skyrocket.
Yeah.
Europe will end up paying significant premium to current prices, which are 6 times higher this year than the last year. But we have a few good news. First of all, United States so far delivered by June of this year as much LNG as they delivered last year, which is, I believe, close to 40 BCM. Another group of partners came to the table. Today, Algeria became largest supplier of gas to Italy. Mm-hmm. Kazakhstan is playing a significant role, and Azerbaijan. They're almost planning to double their export of gas to Europe. Also, European Union members agreed to decrease their consumption by 15%. So none of these factors on its own enough to get off Russian hook, but altogether, this is a roadmap to getting off Russian energy dependency.
Well, U.S. LNG companies and some of the other countries that you had mentioned are with rapidly increasing gas shipped to Europe. Is that enough to make a difference? And then you'd also mention that 15% cut as well. As you know, with the EU, all things are not distributed equally. Do you think that can effectively be played out, cutting that by 15%?
It's not enough to get off completely, but it's a right step towards getting off. So it will take 3-4 years. So Germany will have to restart their nuclear energy program. The partners will need to pump more. Altogether, I believe that there is a roadmap for the next 3, 4, 5 years to get off completely of Russian gas.
What does the grain deal mean for the war?
Okay, this is interesting. So we all very cautious when we saw this morning the ship with grain left at Odessa. But for professionals in the industry I talked to today, this is just first sign that Putin is trying to find a way to sit down with Ukraine at the table, and he's trying to secure his gains. For Ukrainians, it's very simple. If there is no military victory, there is no reason to have any discussions with Putin. And now Putin looks that he found a certain way to position himself as a deal maker, that he allowed the grain to leave Ukraine. However, make no mistake, it serves his needs. It's the Russian strategic posture and narrative of their creation. Our theory, why he agreed to unblock grain shipment in Russia, because it's their own agriculture industry struggling. Even though they're making billions of dollars in selling oil and gas, the grain and fertilizers export of Russia is at stake. And they all depend on foreign breed animals, pesticides, medicine, and parts of the machinery, all of which they have lost access. Also, Russian banks potentially will benefit from this deal because payments will go through these Russian banks.
So, David, with this grain deal, will that help to improve the food export situation around the world, or is that more specific to what's happening in Russia?
If Russians will not attack or will not make it impossible to deliver, parts of Africa, Asia will get the grain which they were always receiving from Russia and Ukraine.
Is there any end in sight, any sort of stable resolution? I feel like things kind of remain the same over the past few months. I mean, do you think this could potentially be resolved by the end of the year, or?
Jill, the price for lazy support for Ukraine, no weapons in 2021, no heavy weapons till June 2022, no jets until now. This is support of Putin's war. And what we see now, that our enemies are testing our capabilities all across the border, Kosovo, Taiwan. So I don't see the end of the war unless there is a victory for Ukrainians, unless there is a way for them to push Russians back.
All right. Well, a lot to look, hopefully by the end of 2022, we'll have some sort of clarity around it, certainly for the food situation and for
Yes.
the European gas situation. David, appreciate the insight as always. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at
Thank you
Nasdaq.
for having me here, Jill.